What's up, y'all? And welcome to The Quiet Loud. I'm DeAnthony Collins. If you're new here, this is where we take the noise of politics, we strip it down to what actually matters, and tell the truth in a way your timeline won't. If you've been riding with us, you already know this community is starting to grow, and I'm so grateful that you come to be a part of it. Now, before we get started, do me a favor, like this video, hit subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss when we drop new episodes and clips. Tonight we're doing something a little different though, and only for this episode. You've seen that viral PSA where 6 Democratic veterans of the military and intel community look into the camera and say, you don't have to follow an unlawful order. If you haven't seen it, I'm gonna play just a little bit of it real quick. Check this out.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
the Air Force,
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our law.
Now, the Trump administration called it seditious. The FBI is probing them, and the Pentagon is investigating Senator Mark Kelly for saying out loud what every service member is already trained to do. So tonight, we're taking that idea and expanding it. If they can be investigated for speaking plainly about the law, then for one episode, we're going to talk about other PSAs this country actually needs, about our health, our wallets, our communities, our democracy, and the people who want to lead us. So let's get into the quiet countdown. Let's start with something that should never require a PSA: the basic fitness and cognitive steadiness of the President of the United States. For days now, people have been passing around clips and headlines about Donald Trump's second annual physical. The unexplained MRI on an unnamed body part, which we've now heard was his abdomen. I don't know, a preventative abdomen MRI. That doesn't sound super likely. Now, I'm not a doctor and I don't diagnose, and I'm not trying to do that here. Everything I say here will be reporting that I've seen or read and my own opinion, as limited as it may be. All right. But I've never heard of preventative abdomen MRIs. And his favorite campaign story about how he aced what he calls, quote, a very hard IQ test. But here's the truth that you and I both know. Wasn't an IQ test. We know that it was the MoCA, or the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, that quick screening tool doctors use when they're concerned about dementia or cognitive decline. We've all seen those old 2020 memes from Trump during the campaign. Person, woman, man, camera, TV. All right? But behind the meme is something dead serious. A president who keeps treating the I passed the dementia check like it's a breakthrough scientific discovery, while the government oscillates between shutdowns and crises. And Americans have noticed. Searches for the MoCA test are spiking again, according to Google Trends, as people quietly ask, why is he still bragging about this? Meanwhile, the political world around him is beginning to fracture. Judges he appointed are ruling against him. Veterans are publicly warning troops not to follow unlawful orders. Former loyalists are stepping back. A credible PSA would say this: this is not about mocking cognitive decline. Cognitive tests save lives. The issue is a president who uses the dementia screen as a branding exercise instead of giving the country transparency, steadiness, and clarity about his own health. When a leader projects insecurity instead of stability, the country begins running its own assessment, and more people are arriving at the same conclusion: that something's off, and it's not that test. All right, now let's turn to the economy. Your wallet, your premiums, and your grocery cart. Because if America needed a PSA right now, someone would be holding up a $400 grocery receipt the way at Miss Marilyn Dollmaker did on TikTok. That was a whisper from my last episode last week, and saying, this isn't just sticker shock. It's their policy. ACA subsidies, the same subsidies keeping premiums stable, are on the chopping block again, as Republican leadership signals that they may let them expire just to satisfy their hardliners. You know, a little red meat to their base. If that happens, premiums will spike, families will lose coverage, millions get pushed into the red. And while that's happening, Trump is out selling a tariff dividend, a one-time payout financed by broad across-the-board tariffs. And if we get them, it will only be during the midterm and for the purpose of bribing you for your vote. Please remember that, okay? Economists say that the truth is far simpler. And we know this, you and I know this, we experience this every day, that tariffs are taxes and that we pay them, you and I. They raise taxes on imports. They increase supply chain costs, and those costs land directly on you and me at the checkout stand. Inside the GOP, moderates are quietly warning leadership that they don't want to campaign on healthcare hikes and higher grocery prices. Meanwhile, Trump is saying that affordability is a hoax. His own people don't believe this. They ran on affordability in the last election, and now suddenly it's a hoax? Punchbowl News reports more Republicans may resign early rather than defend Trump's economic brinkmanship. A real PSA would say plainly, your receipt is not a personal failure. It is, however, the direct output of political decisions made right in the Oval Office. And some members of Congress know it, which is why they're looking for the exits. Now let's turn to where this intersects with my home state of North Carolina. If America needed a PSA right now, it would start on the streets of Charlotte and Raleigh, where ICE operations Charlotte's Web has arrested hundreds of people in recent weeks, many outside workplaces, apartment complexes, and neighborhood streets. Parents have kept kids home from school, businesses have closed early, people fled mid-air when agents appeared. Local officials say they're getting inconsistent guidance about whether the raids are over or they're escalating, while DHS continues to say they will not stop. Now contrast that with what just happened in Miami, Florida, where voters elected Eileen Higgins, the first Democratic mayor in 30 years, rejecting Trump-aligned immigration politics in one of the most immigrant-heavy cities in the whole country. Both stories illustrate the same truth, that people aren't safer when policy turns entire communities into targets. They're more frightened, they're more destabilized, and less willing to engage with civic life. A PSA for this moment would ask, who's being protected here? And who's being harmed? And why are law and order policies breaking trust faster than they build them? Now let's talk a little bit about leadership, because America needs a PSA about who we trust with the microphone. Let's give an example. On one side, you got Representative Jasmine Crockett, who just announced she's running for Senate in Texas. She's a civil rights attorney, an oversight bulldog, and one of the clearest Democratic communicators in Congress right now. Her entry into the race signals rising Democratic confidence in a state once considered unwinnable for Democrats. On the other side, you have Donald Trump receiving a FIFA Peace Prize? I thought this was a soccer organization. FIFA Peace Prize at the Kennedy Center, a ceremony currently under ethics review for violating neutrality rules. Global watchdogs have filed complaints. Late-night hosts are roasting it, and Reuters has confirmed that separate Trump awards circulating online are fabricated entirely. A PSA for this would ask, why are the truth tellers under investigation while the myth makers are manufacturing new medals? This moment is forcing America to decide who it trusts with critical information. The veterans, the watchdogs, the public servants, or the political showmen building alternate realities. We don't need that. Let's turn to Congress, because we need a PSA for what's happening inside the House GOP. Resignations, not rumors, resignations. Morale at historic lows. Members warning journalists that more explosive departures are coming. Speaker Mike Johnson's hold on power is tied directly to Trump's demands. Impeachment theatrics, ACA sabotage, and the total obedience on messaging. Moderates and institutionalists are quietly panicking, and some are preparing to leave rather than campaign through this chaos. I mean, who could blame them? But that should tell you something. Meanwhile, voters in Miami flipped a 30-year Republican seat. Judges Trump appointed are ruling against him. Veterans are warning about unlawful orders, and Trump's base is fracturing right beneath his feet. A PSA would say this: when a movement is healthy, people fight to stay close to power. But when a movement is collapsing, they run for the exits. And you can see as well as I can which way the MAGA movement is going. Now, one last thing before we get out of here. A few stories I want to put on your radar until next time, okay? North Carolina has quietly crossed a dangerous threshold. The NC Housing Coalition now reports a shortage of over 215,000 affordable units, with Charlotte rents up 13% year over year. Nonprofits say families displaced by ICE operations are colliding with a housing market already at the breaking point. With FEMA funding stalled at the federal level, mind you, NC GOP Senate candidate Mike Whatley is at the helm of this disastrous FEMA administration here in this area. Multiple counties describe this as a slow-moving disaster with no clear plans in sight. Next up, the U.S. Energy Information Administration has issued guidance forecasting unusually high volatility in gas supply heading into 2022. Now, you hear Trump always talking about every couple of weeks, a 99 gas somewhere that nobody ever sees. He never says where, okay? Refinery disruptions in Texas and tariff-driven supply chain pressures are major contributing factors to this. North Carolina regulators are quietly telling consumers to prepare for possible short-term disruptions in early 2026. Then, CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, has issued a joint cybersecurity advisory warning that sophisticated actors are escalating phishing attempts against local election officials, including in North Carolina. Experts say the tactic appears designed to gather credentials months ahead of the 2026 midterms, so let's definitely keep an eye out for this. USDA reports show dozens of rural grocery stores, especially in the Southeast, have stopped accepting SNAP due to shutdown-driven payment delays. Analysts warn of emerging SNAP deserts, where families technically have the benefits but nowhere to spend them. Once a retailer drops off, it could take years to return. Now, the National Center for Education Statistics report mid-year teacher resignations are up 23% nationwide, the highest on record. NC districts say burnout from curriculum wars, low pay, and safety concerns are what's driving educators out faster than they can be replaced. Now, this is plenty to take in for now. So tonight, we've tried something different. We took that Veterans PSA about unlawful orders as a starting point, and we asked, what if we built PSAs for the rest of our reality? A PSA about a president more obsessed with bragging about a dementia screening than leveling with the public. About how tariffs and healthcare brinkmanship show up on your supermarket receipt. A PSA about law and order, what law and order looks like when ICE raids tear through Charlotte while voters in Miami say we've had enough. Another one about who we trust with the mic, from Jasmine Crockett to those 6 elected veterans, AOC, Obama, Newsom, Joe Neguse, a whole host of other people. Or do we want the people out inventing peace prizes for themselves? And the last was about what it meant when the exit sign in Congress starts to glow brighter and brighter. So if this resonated with you, do the things that actually help shows like this grow. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't. Send this to a person who cares but doesn't have the time to track every single headline. And finally, a civic action you can take. If you're angry about ICE raids, call your mayor, your state reps, and your congressional delegation. If you're concerned about unlawful orders, support veteran and legal groups sounding the alarm. And if you're inspired by leaders like Jasmine Crockett or Eileen Higgins, volunteer, donate, and vote in every election, big or small, off year or presidential. Okay, up and down the ballot. And I'm going to ask you, as I always do, to be loud in your listening and be real in your truth. I'm DeAnthony Collins, and this has been The Quiet Loud. Y'all take care.